Roussillion is located high above the valley of Calavon in the heart of the Luberon. Even from a distance, the village glows in warm red, orange and yellow tones. Hardly any other place in Provence is as strongly characterized by color as Roussillion. These colors are not only a backdrop, but they tell the story of the village, his work, his wealth and his transformations. Roussillion almost seems to float between cypresses, pine trees and olive groves. But behind the picturesque facade hides a past that is closely connected to the ground on which the place was built.
The origins of Roussillion date back to ancient times. The Romans already used the natural resources of the region. In the Middle Ages, a fortified place developed on the rock, which strategically watched over the trade routes. In 10, for the first time, Roussillion appears in written sources. For centuries, the lords of the village changed before. Like the entire Provence, it finally became part of France in 1481. The village remained small, rural, and heavily dependent on nature. Wars and political upheaval did not pass without a trace at Roussillion. But the place always owed its greatest importance to what was beneath its feet, the ochre.
Roussillion is located on one of the largest ochre deposits in Europe. For centuries, the degradation and processing of this natural color pigment was the most important source of income in the region. From the 18th, industrial ochre mining began for the century. The pigment was used for paints, plaster, fabrics, and later also for the chemical industry. In the weddings, hundreds of people worked in mines, sinks, and drying plants. The ochre made Roussillion known, far beyond Provence. At the same time, he shaped the village image. Houses were painted with the pigment. Walls and paths took on the colors of the floor. But the work was hard. Dust, heavy physical strain, and insecure income determined the everyday life of the workers. With the advent of synthetic colors in the 20th century, of ochre mining increasingly lost importance.
After the decline of the ochre industry, the Roussillion, like many villages in Provence, was facing an upheaval. Agriculture alone is no longer enough to keep the population. Tourism is the most important economic factor today. Cafes, galleries, small shops and holiday rentals determine the photo. Many residents live directly or indirectly from the flow of visitors. At the same time, the community is trying to preserve the cultural heritage. The Set of Ochre, a former mining area, is today a protected hiking trail, a reminder of the industrial past, and at the same time, a tourist attraction.
With its unique color, Roussillion is one of the most visited villages in the Luberon. Especially in the summer months, when the huge cruise ships moor in Marseille, thousands of visitors flock through the narrow streets every day. Mass tourism brings revenue, jobs, and international attention. At the same time, it poses major challenges to the place. Traffic problems, rising property prices, and the loss of calm and authenticity. Roussillion exemplifies many Provençal villages that need to balance between economic necessity and the protection of their identity.
Despite, or precisely because of, these contrasts, Roussillion retains his special charm. It is not only the colors, but the interplay of landscape, light, and history. The slow morning hours when the alleys are still silent. The warm evening light that immerses the facades in soft red. The view over vineyards and lavender fields to Mont Ventoux. Roussillion is a place that not only wants to be viewed, but experienced. A village that lives from its past without stopping in it.
Roussillion is more than a postcard motif. It is an example of the change of rural regions in the south of France, from industrial work to tourist staging. Between preservation and change, the place seeks its way into the future. The colors of the ochre are reminiscent of the fact that everything that makes up Roussillion is deeply rooted in the ground. And perhaps that is precisely his greatest strength, in the connection between nature and human labor.